Hello, my name's John Dexter and welcome to my channel. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe as it would really help me out, and hit that notification bell to see future videos. As I haven't been out for a while photographing, I thought I'd run through with you my top 10 favourite images of 2019, where I took them and the process I used to capture the image. So let's get right into it. I must say that these images are in no particular order of preference. They're just my top 10 favourite of 2019. The first one up is this image of Christchurch Harbour in Dorset. The thing I liked about this particularly was the pastel-y colours. It almost looked like a sort of watercolour painting to me, and this was produced by moving the camera vertically from bottom to top. Doing it that way gives you the reflection of the mass in the water, or that illusion. If you did it the other way from top to bottom, you actually wouldn't get that effect. So that's worth bearing in mind if you're taking an image like this with Icm. Okay, so the next one up is this image of two piers in Hamworthy, Dorset. In fact, the big majority of my images are taken in Dorset. This was quite a stormy, horrible day actually, but it gave me quite a nice sky. This was achieved by just sort of jiggling the camera around a bit, not too much, otherwise you would lose too much detail, but you want to give it enough that you haven't really got a sharp image, which gives it this effect. I think the thing I liked about this particularly was that there were the two piers, and they look as if they're sort of disappearing into the horizon. And I like the colour of the water that was there, which was basically produced by the colours of the stones. In post-processing I did enhance the colours slightly, but that was pretty much it, which gave me quite a pleasing image, I thought. This is Knowlton Church, which was actually built in the 12th century on a Neolithic ritual henge earthworks. There's a bit of history for you. It's supposed to be haunted, and believe it or not, you can go down there any time of night and there's people there. I don't know what they do. I think they're looking for ghosts or something, but there you go, everyone to their own. Anyway, this was a beautiful sunset this evening, and the way I got this illusion was by moving the camera from the right to the left, basically dragging the sunset into the image, and then I gave it a panoramic crop, which I thought suited it. This is Corfe Castle, and how I achieved this image was by moving the camera from left to right or right to left. You just have to keep trying different movements and see what effect it has on the image, but it's basically just dragging the clouds into it, which is giving you this effect of fog. I would have then just played around with the colours in post-processing until I ended up with an image that I was happy with. Sometimes I'll take pictures of people. This was actually a mother with her child in a pushchair, and the way I managed to get this effect was just by moving the camera up and down with a little sideways jiggle. I quite like the fact that there were a couple of people in the left hand side walking down as well. It sort of gives you this abstracty effect, painterly effect, which sometimes works quite well, and I think in this case it probably did. Some of my images are more abstract than others, and I think this is one of them. What I loved about this was the sort of pale pastel-y colours of the background, with just the outlines of the castle, and then you've got this beautiful deep red foreground, which I think just fitted in perfectly with the image. This was achieved by moving the camera in a sort of semicircular direction and at the same time from one side to the other. So yeah, this image definitely fits in with my top 10. I felt I had to put this one in to my top 10 because I was very honoured and privileged to get a gold award from the National Photographic Society for it, which I was absolutely over the moon about. This again was taken in Christchurch Harbour, and it was achieved by moving the camera from one side to the other. You have to be a little bit careful the speed that you do it at, because if you go too fast you just end up with a streaky blur, and not fast enough you end up with too much detail in the image. So you just have to keep taking frame after frame at different speeds until you get the image that you're happy with. But I love the colours in this image, and someone actually said to me that it looked a bit like a Turner painting, which was a very nice thing for someone to say. So yeah, this one definitely had to make it in my top 10. This was taken as some moored boats in Poole Harbour. As far as the camera movements go, it would have been a vertical movement. What I loved about this image was it sort of reminded me of some old galleons that had just come home from a battle and sort of moored up in the harbour, which made for a very sort of ghostly image, which just seemed to work somehow. This was actually an old life ring that was abandoned on the beach, and I wasn't actually going to take a picture of it, but I did. And I'm so glad I did, because I absolutely loved it when I got it back to the computer and saw it. I don't know what it is about it that I like. I think it's probably the colours just seem to fade into the background and blend into the sky. And it just somehow seems to work, or it does for me anyway. So that's definitely one that was a keeper. So we come to my final top 10 images of 2019. Now I've put this one in because I love the simplicity of it. It was actually Peveril Point on the Purbex, but you've got all this black negative space which just somehow seems to work with the land and the blue sky at the top of the image. You can see the direction I moved the camera by the white line, which was actually the sort of reflection of the sun on the water, but for some reason, to my way of thinking, it's an image which just is so simple but works. So there you have it. That is my top 10 favourite images of 2019. I hope you've enjoyed looking at them with me, and I hope it's encouraged you to get out there and try some ICM photography, because it is just so much fun and you can get some really lovely images from it. So if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, as it would really help me out. So this is John Dexter saying bye for now.